welcome to cilantro. That's the leaf and the stems, and the seeds are coriander. And the botanical name for this wonderful, amazing culinary and medicinal plant is Coriander sativum. What we're going to look at today is, because it is culinary and it is very medicinal, but we're going to focus very specifically on cilantro's astonishing ability to clear out heavy metals from your system. So let's dive into this topic a little bit. First of all, heavy metal toxicity is basically, what are heavy metals? Well, heavy metals are those that are heavy. They're considered to have like an atomic number that's greater than 20, a density above 5 grams, and they've got to exhibit certain properties that are associated with metals. There's your chemistry definition. We're going to be looking at things like lead, arsenic, cadmium, mercury, aluminum, right? These are common, far more common in our worlds than you may be aware of. The signs of poisoning can be very large or very small pupil dilation, right? Rapid or very slow heartbeat, rapid or very slow breathing, drooling, stomach pain, nausea, sleepiness, confusion, kind of, or hyperactivity on the other, kind of as these wonky things that start to be exhibited, slurred speech. And you can get contamination from a wide variety of sources. Obviously, the primary one that people are going to be thinking about is just the environment. Are you living in a place, or do you have a job that is exposing you to higher levels of any one of these heavy metals? So that's a big one. But you don't have to live right down, downwind of an industrial plant anymore. In our world, some of these things are going to show up all over. They can show up in many foods. There's lead in our water, oceans, so fish can have it, crustaceans can have it, wheat, grains, edible roots, mushrooms. It's astonishing what gets into the environment that gets pulled out of the soils and can show up in our foodstuffs. So some of these, a little bit, the body can handle it, right? A few weeds in the garden, your garden is not going to fall apart. You start to get overwhelmed, you got a problem. And if your underlying condition is vulnerable, you could have a big problem. So let's dive in a little bit. Lead can cause high blood pressure, brain issues, mental functioning, kidney, reproductive health, muscle pain, irritability, loss of sex drive, sperm count can go down, stillbirth, premature birth. It's a big deal, exposure to lead, and it's out there a lot. And many people can have lead toxicity and they may not look or even feel sick, but they may have just like a metallic taste in the mouth. So it's something you want to be paying attention to. Arsenic. This is lethal, and drinking contaminated water is probably the most common source of exposure to arsenic poisoning. So about 70% of arsenic, because there's some waters, right, where you can go take the cure and you have a little arsenic in the water. About 70% of that's going to be flushed out of your system. Your body doesn't know what it is, doesn't want it, and it just goes right on out through the urine. But if you get overexposed, you got a problem. And cilantro is the number one for clearing it out. Garlic can also help, barley grass, lemon water. So there's other options that you can build on to help pull that out. Cadmium, this is another kind of from the foods. It's also for those people that are going to be exposed, workers that are recycling electronics, especially or exposed to telephone or electrical cables. And it can cause swelling throat, tingling hands, cramping, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. See, these are, you could think you have the flu, and what you've been is overexposed. Mercury, permanent lung damage, brain damage, even death. It's a big, big problem for the central nervous system. A little bit from a broken thermometer that you pick up, it can be passed through the skin, but usually not enough to cause you any real harm, though you still want to detox, and cilantro is going to be your herb of choice here. But the little bit isn't going to generally harm you. The big problem is when it's inhaled through in a poorly ventilated area, and some of the big lights in arenas have used mercury in them, and so that's been kind of a changing area. I don't know if they have a lot of those lights, but an older arena may still. And the onset of symptoms can take anywhere from, it can be weeks, days to weeks afterwards. So you might not make the connection of what's going on. Aluminum, This is really not a good one, especially if you have any kind of pre-existing impaired kidney function or on dialysis. You'll get a lot of nonspecific symptoms: bone pain, weak muscles, fractures that don't heal, cognitive and mood swings. A little bit in the brain isn't going to be bad. We drink soda pops, there's aluminum, you're getting exposed. But if it builds up over time, or as I say, if you've got a pre-existing condition, you could be in trouble. Deodorants, cosmetics, some vegetables, seafoods, it's unbelievable. Soil, water supply. Aluminum is all around. So you want to be able to you get an aluminum pan that's even been coated. If that coat gets a scratch in it, you're seriously exposing yourself to the aluminum in a more toxic way than you would say just even from a soda can, because it's being heated up and entering the food that you're going to ingest. If you really want to know if you've got heavy metal toxicity, you got to go take a blood, urine, hair, or fingernail analysis. And the remedies are going to be making use of some substance, pharmaceutical or otherwise, that can do what's called chelate the metals to suck them out of the system. And cilantro is like the primary herb for this. Studies have been done to show that combining cilantro with chlorella, another beautiful natural green food, removes an average of like 87% of the lead from your system, 91% of the mercury, 74% of the aluminum in about 45 days. The general recommendations, like you're using that combination 3 times a day for about 3 months. So if you've got real concern that you might be overexposed to some of these things, there's a quick, easy solution for vastly reducing the amount of these heavy metals in your system. And that's a big deal. That's a kind of nice natural solution that you can be doing, so you don't have to worry or go get tested. Are you have heavy metal toxicity? We live in a toxic world. Some levels in there. Why not clean it out? Get some cilantro. Get some coriander. Visit our website at whiterabbitinstituteofhealing.com and find out more about these 2, same plant, seeds and the leaves, what they can do for you. Look, balloons. There you go. Now you got to go celebrate cilantro.